Major Percy Fawcett, an undecorated British officer, is frustrated by his lack of advancement despite his military service. At a high society gala, his wife Nina tries to comfort him, but Percy feels keenly the absence of medals on his uniform, which he believes hinders his career. He yearns for a prestigious assignment to reclaim his family's tarnished name. His father was a disgraced drunkard and gambler. Unexpectedly, Percy is summoned to the Royal Geographical Society, RGS. Sir George Goldie, the president, and Mr. John Scott Kelty, the secretary, inform him of a critical mission in Bolivia. Due to a lucrative rubber trade, a border dispute has erupted between Bolivia and Brazil, threatening war. As an impartial third party, the RGS has been asked to map the disputed territory, and Fawcett's past surveying skills in Ceylon and Hong Kong make him a suitable candidate. Despite his desire for military action, the RGS impresses upon him the dangerous and arduous nature of jungle exploration with its diseases, murderous savages, and the likelihood of a multi-year absence. They tempt him with the promise of military honors and the restoration of his family's reputation if he succeeds. Percy accepts the mission, much to Nina's understanding but unspoken sorrow. She reveals she is pregnant with their second child, further emphasizing the sacrifice of his long absence. Before departing, Percy hires Henry Costin, a seemingly unreliable but experienced aide-de-camp, with a medal for bravery. Costin, initially appearing drunk, proves his loyalty and resilience, confirming he has no family to lose, making him ideal for the perilous journey. Their new orders are to map the source of the Verde River, a crucial part of the disputed border. They begin their journey at Fazenda Jacobina, an old rubber town. Here they are advised by Lance Corporal Manley to abort the mission due to escalating conflict. Percy, undeterred, sends a telegram refusing to stand down. He seeks an Indian guide from Baron de Gondorais, the ruthless owner of the local rubber company who uses slave labor. The Baron, intrigued by Percy's quest for peace, which he interprets as maintaining the profitable status quo, provides a chained Indian guide and 4 men. The expedition into the Amazon proves brutally challenging. The jungle is a green desert where food is scarce and the river seems devoid of fish. They encounter a deserted German boat, its occupants mysteriously gone, and face a terrifying piranha attack. The arduous conditions take their toll, and the Indian guide begins speaking of gold cities, leading Costin to believe he's gone mad. Morale plummets as their food supplies dwindle to nothing. The men grow desperate and a fight erupts over the last piece of boar meat. Costin, demonstrating his unwavering loyalty, fires a warning shot to quell the mutiny. Despite the hardships, Percy and Costin reach the source of the river, becoming the first white men to do so. The Indian guide, having fulfilled his purpose, mysteriously disappears. At their final mapping point, Percy and Costin discover ancient pottery fragments confirming the Indians' seemingly mad tales of lost civilizations. Percy realizes that his initial assumption of the jungle being an empty wilderness was colored by his European perspective. Others had clearly been there before. Upon his return to England, Percy is hailed as a hero, reuniting with Nina and his sons Jack and newborn Brian. He is introduced to James Murray, a wealthy amateur explorer who was second in command under Shackleton. Percy, now speaking publicly to the RGS, passionately presents his theory of a hidden ancient Amazonian civilization, one that predates their own and challenges the prevailing racist views of primitive savages. He reveals archaeological finds, the pottery, as evidence. His claims are met with skepticism and ridicule from some, particularly Mr. William Barclay, who dismisses the pottery as mere pots and pans and questions the idea of savages being equals. Percy argues that the discovery of such a city would rewrite human history and challenges the bigotry of the church that condemned indigenous races to slavery and death. Nina, having diligently researched, provides crucial supporting evidence. A document from Trinity College, Dublin, written by a Portuguese soldier in 1753, explicitly describing a gold-bedecked ancient city. Percy names this lost city Z, proclaiming it the ultimate piece of the human puzzle. Murray, captivated, pledges to join Percy on his next expedition, and Costin reaffirms his loyalty. At home, Nina expresses her desire to accompany Percy on his next journey, having learned navigation and history during his absence. Percy, however, dismisses the idea, arguing that the jungle is not a place for a woman, citing the physical rigors and dangers. Nina counters fiercely, highlighting the greater pain of childbirth and her own endurance during his long absences. She accuses him of overlooking her aspirations as a woman and of holding a narrow traditional view of gender roles. Their argument reveals a deep divide in their understanding of equality. The next expedition begins with Murray accompanying Percy and Costin. Murray, however, proves to be a hindrance, complaining about the weight of his scientific equipment and discarding essential supplies. The expedition receives news of Hiram Bingham's discovery of Machu Picchu in Peru, further fueling Percy's belief in Z. The journey continues to be fraught with challenges, and Murray's unpreparedness becomes increasingly apparent. The American discovery of Machu Picchu intensifies the rivalry between nations to uncover lost civilizations, pushing Percy and his team further into their perilous quest for Z. As they continue upriver, they lose one of their boats. They are suddenly confronted by a tribe of indigenous people, prompting Manley to panic and urge them to arm themselves. Percy, however, orders them to hold fire and instructs Manley to play his concertina. He and Costin then sing Soldiers of the Queen, a desperate attempt to de-escalate the situation. The bold move works, and the chief of the tribe, impressed, invites them as guests. Percy quickly learns that this is a tribe of cannibals, but the chief explains their practice is spiritual, believing they absorb the spirit of deceased tribe members by consuming them. Percy insists they engage with the tribe for vital information despite Costin's strong refusal to participate in the ritual. The chief shares rumors of a city further up the river and provides them with a remarkable substance that stuns fish, allowing the tribe to harvest only what they need. Percy is deeply impressed by the tribe's sophisticated knowledge of the jungle, recognizing his own arrogance in underestimating these savages. He notes their cultivated land laid out with mathematical precision, further solidifying his belief in the existence of Z. With their canoes now useless, they resort to using a raft. The next morning, James Murray, who had been separated from the group, stumbles back into camp injured and delirious with fever. He attempts to steal and consume their shared rations of Christmas pudding, revealing his true character. Despite his injury, Percy insists they continue moving, refusing to allow Murray's weakness to jeopardize the mission. Murray's condition worsens, leading to a dangerous incident where he nearly capsizes the raft, causing them to lose a third of their remaining rations. Percy, enraged, confronts Murray about his selfishness and sabotage, while Murray in his delirium blames Percy for his suffering. Realizing Murray is a liability, Percy makes the difficult decision to send him back to civilization with their last horse and minimal supplies, along with an Indian guide. Costin, however, expresses his disdain for Percy's apparent disregard for Murray's life and his singular obsession with the lost city. He accuses Percy of caring only about Z, not the welfare of his crew or even his family. Despite this, Percy pushes on, believing they are close to Z. Ultimately, the expedition is forced to turn back due to a lack of supplies exacerbated by Murray's sabotage. Percy is devastated, having no physical evidence of Z to show for their efforts. Costin sends a telegram to the RGS reporting Murray's probable death and their return to England. The world is on the brink of World War I, and both Percy and Costin anticipate being called to fight. Upon returning home, Percy struggles to reconnect with his family. His eldest son Jack resents his long absences, accusing him of abandoning them for a path to glory and calling him a failure due to the negative press surrounding his expedition. Nina fiercely defends Percy, reminding Jack of his father's sacrifices. During the war, Percy, Costin, and Manly serve together. In the trenches, a medium gives Percy a reading confirming his destiny to find the lost city and illuminate the world. He bravely leads his men into battle, urging them to fight for each other. Percy is exposed to chlorine gas, severely damaging his eyes, but his brigade's bravery earns him a promotion to lieutenant colonel. Nina visits him in the hospital, where he expresses his desire to return to Amazonia despite his injuries. Jack, now showing remorse, finds Percy an American journalist who has been following his story. The journalist reveals that Dr. Hamilton Rice, a wealthy American explorer, is planning a heavily armed expedition to Brazil equipped with radio and airplanes. Inspired by Rice's plans and his recovered eyesight, Percy's obsession with Z is rekindled. Jack, now supportive, expresses his desire to join his father, arguing that they must find Z before the Americans destroy the indigenous cultures. Nina, despite her fear, gives her blessing, acknowledging Percy's innate nature as an explorer. Costin, however, declines to join, having a wife and child now and no longer willing to bear the personal cost of the expedition. He expresses doubt that Z can provide all the answers Percy seeks. Percy secures funding from American newspapers and John D. Rockefeller Jr. The RGS, now eager to avoid being outmaneuvered by the Americans, offers its support, and Sir John, who previously doubted Percy, presents him with the prestigious Founder's Gold Medal. Percy, Jack, and a small self-reliant team embark on their final journey to Z, intending to be in the field for 3 years, sending dispatches via tribesmen. Percy gives Nina a compass, promising to send it back when they reach Z as a sign that he might not return. The expedition progresses with widespread public interest. Percy and Jack marvel at the Amazon's vastness and the remnants of ancient cultures. Percy sends Nina a final letter describing their encounter with a new tribe and their discovery of a cave with ancient paintings, which he believes marks the gateway to Z. He expresses his hope to be in contact with the old civilization within a month, acknowledging that their fate rests in the lap of the gods. The last known moments of Percy and Jack show them approaching an indigenous village. Despite a momentary hesitation and a tense standoff, Percy attempts to establish peaceful contact, reminding Jack to be brave and that their journey has given them a unique understanding. The scene shifts to Nina at the RGS years later. She reads a letter she wrote in case she didn't survive childbirth, a poignant message about dreaming and seeking the unknown. Sir John informs her that many search parties have been sent, but they must accept the inevitable. However, a Brazilian man has claimed to have seen Percy and Jack living with an Indian tribe, claiming they reached Z. He gives Nina a compass which Percy had told him to deliver, leaving Nina with a glimmer of hope and prompting Sir John to have the compass examined for further evidence. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.